Oh, Malta. It's the dream. It's the dream. Oh. Here we go. This is what we were made for. Absolutely smashing. Got him, coach. Can I get over that? I can. Nice.
This ship gases. What the hell?
Yeah, bro, it's crazy. Oh,
wait, what nation is this one?
Look at that. All right, now we're out. Hey guys, welcome back to World of Warships. Today we are taking a look at one of the funnest cruisers to play in the entire game. I am so excited to have Aguirre? Apologies for pronunciation as always, back in the game. This ship was released a while ago, and if you missed out on what it does, well, it's another one of these reload boosting combat instructions Pan-American cruisers. Interesting that Grau is also back for sale this update, so you can kind of take your pick on which playstyle you would like more. Personally, I think I like the Aguirre more. However, we will be taking a look at Grau rather soon, don't you worry. This ship is all about brawling. Brawling in a cruiser? How is that possible? Well, this ship has some very, very good armor. 40mm deck armor, 40mm upper belt, as well as icebreaker that is 50mm. So it's almost like a battleship level of armor, very small ship, pretty good detect, alongside what are just fine guns. They're nothing too impressive, especially with that 18-second reload. Oh my goodness, 18.5 seconds base reload. But when you combine that with a 70% reduction in reload on this F key, yes, 70%. You get like a 5.5 second reload base, which you can stack with some other buffs. So we're getting like Des Moines levels of reload here on these 9203s, and the resulting damage is very good. The AP has slightly improved pen angles actually, so I stuck with AP for the most part. Wanting to use the burst fire, wanting to get ourselves in positions where we're finding these ridiculous broadsides that apparently we're not citadeling a Cerberus somehow. Anyways, we'll get there eventually. Next booster is already activated. That's the special sauce with this ship. It activates this combat instruction very, very quickly while it is getting shot at. You get 0.4% charge per every 1,000 potential damage. Notice our potential damage is nearing the million mark. You charge it like instantly, bro. What can I say? You get shot at by one battleship, you make a miss or bounce off your armor, you basically get 60% of your charge instantly there. We're able to charge this back so quickly that while you're in a brawl, you almost have Des Moines level reload all the time, which is just so much fun. Don't worry. This ship, I don't think, is that overpowered, because getting into those positions is very, very, very difficult. You got to get quite lucky and position your ship very well. There's an element of skill, a lot of skill involved with the positioning, but some luck too. This one even into a tier 10 game. Fast fun there, 6-minute match. But hey, we managed top score in a bottom tier ship. That is pretty darn good. We are also looking at a ship with the worst DPM in the tier. So of all tier 8 cruisers, this has the worst AG DPM, like near the bottom 5 AP DPM ships without the reload booster active. As we would expect, it is an all or nothing ship surrounding this reload boosting F key. And I find that rather fun to play around, but I do want to showcase some of the matches where I didn't get to charge it up that much. If you're used to playing cruisers where you're pushing up behind islands, farming over them, trying not to get shot at, which, let's be honest, that is good cruiser play, especially in the early game. This is not going to play that way at all. If you play that same playstyle, you're just never going to activate these combat instructions. Look at how slowly we're gaining charge just based on our main battery hits. It is 1% per main battery hit. That is so low. It'll take you forever to get any sort of charge progress with that. You need to be taking damage, or rather getting potential damage, for this ship to be played at its maximum. For someone like me, as you guys know, I love to push in. These brawls are really fun. I love this ship. But if you're not as interested in that playstyle, this will not be as interesting for you. Perhaps the Grau would be a better option. Stay tuned for a video on that one now that it is back. However, the cost is a big difference. Grau gets you a 66% reload reduction for its F key based on its concealment, or rather staying undetected. It's pretty fun to get shot at for me a couple times, and we get the reload booster right away. For Grau, you go undetected for a minute, and then you get a crazy reload booster for 30 seconds. And then you go undetected for a minute, and then you get a crazy reload booster. So if you want that more hit and run style play, and you get concealment more, a little more standard cruiser play, I think Grau would be a little more fun for you. However, Aguirre is just really fun. Again, apologies for pronunciation. I hope I'm doing that right. I tried to look it up. Anyways, moving on. The price of this ship, 11,300 doubloons, is the standard price of tier 8s in the armory. Yes, this one's in the armory through ship rotation. This is not an event ship with this summer festival like we've seen with Suzia, with Grau, for example, with Rhode Island, Cambridge, a lot of these returning rare ships. They're quite expensive as a result, so much more so than this one will be. So that's another consideration too. You will also be able to use the coupon in the armory for 25% off a doubloon ship on this one, bringing this one down to around 8,500 doubloons, somewhere in there, for its reduced price. So that's pretty good. For me, that is the most exciting ship of the update as far as ones you'd still have to pay for. This one's really fun to play, and also happens to be one that you can get for a decent discount relative to the other event ships, which are very, very expensive. Even secondaries, by the way, look at that. Bismarck secondaries, noticeable charge progress gained every time those secondaries are coming at us. And remember, they're not penning us very much at all. It's only the large caliber secondaries that get over 40 millimeters when a Bismarck runs IFHE. These smaller ones, the 105s, actually won't get over our armor threshold. So we're really, really well protected here, though perhaps less so about this Hawk that's about to come around the corner, as we do have a slightly above water citadel. There's kind of some turtleback with this ship, though it is like 30 millimeters, so pretty good against your own tier. 30 millimeters notably will be auto bouncing shells that are 406 millimeters in caliber, right? Anything lower than that. But as soon as we get into those up tiers, yeah, going broadside, you're going to eat a lot of damage. We're also just still going to eat a lot of full pens, as this is not a particularly small, or at least not a thin ship. So the Hawk gets good damage on us, and we are going to go down here. But we're in a pretty intense brawl here right at the end, and we've ramped our damage up rather quickly. We still got over 100k into this one. And even though the game has slipped away from us, this ship does just so well in these high pressure situations, getting at so much damage so quickly. You need to put it close. You need to get into these brawls for it to actually have some battle impact. Perhaps a reason, I won't blame that one on myself. That was just a blowout. But perhaps a reason that it slipped away so quickly, I guess we could say, is, well, we didn't get access to our combat instructions that quickly. I wasn't playing aggressive enough to make that happen, so then I wasn't having as much impact in the early game. I think that is worth commenting on. However, a game like that, blowouts happen, guys. Let's not kick ourselves too much for losing in a blowout like that one. Moving on to our next game, where, again, we are just going to be pushing up into the full down tier. This ship does all right into the full up tier. It does great against its own tier. Into the down tier, it's really not that fair. This ship probably has better armor than a lot of the low tier battleships do, and probably more consistent main guns, especially if you're getting this reload booster activated. It's just absolutely crazy. We won't be overmatching the bow of a Harbin. I wasn't quite sure on that, but we should swap over to the high explosive. And this is, I think, where this ship will also do a little bit worse, is if you're just spamming HE into perfectly angled targets towards yourself. It'll do okay still, assuming you're getting that reload booster activated, but the HE is really not that impressive as far as 203 mil HE goes. 11% fire chance is fine. I mean, but Baltimore and stuff like that has 14%, Catalonia 15%, Auckland getting up to that very nice 18%. There's a lot of better ships if you're just wanting to farm HE, fires, that sort of thing. That's not even talking about the reload, by the way. That's just the straight up fire chance. Fires per minute takes into account your reload as well as how good your fire chance is. We get 3.2 fires per minute, okay? everything else is well above 5 fires per minute. This is a bad ship if you want to HE spam. Just go with the AP. Trust me, you're going to have a much, much better time. And with that, we'll also consider our dispersion. It is normal cruiser dispersion, which is very nice most of the time, but it's really nice to have things like outnumbered activated on a ship like this one, where we're trying to pinpoint sections of ships. Outnumbered gives us better dispersion when there are more enemies within our gun range than there are friendlies. So we have our outnumbered active right now, and just look at how beautiful that dispersion is into that Pensacola. Easily able to take him out there. It's a noticeable upgrade, and with a ship that wants to brawl, that wants to get close to the enemy, that has probably some limited range, I think we could say. 15.1 is totally fine and more than usable for a tier 8 cruiser, especially one with so much armor that wants to brawl. But it is worth noting that that helps us when it comes to activating outnumbered. You're always going to have a lot of teammates around you at the start of battle, right? So if you go to the flank, if you push up a lot, that's how you'll get maybe some of your more passive teammates, certainly the ones that have gone to the other side of the map, outside of your gun range, allowing you to more consistently get outnumbered activated. We're also using Fearless Brawler. Again, I will take a look at the build at the end of this video as always, but Brawler just gives us a nice 8% reload when there is an enemy within our detection range, our standard detection range. So on a ship with such slow reload, that brings it down to a much more usable reload even without the F key. I still want to get that F key, don't get me wrong, but even without it, we are still getting like a 16-second reload. That's not great, and that's with AR buffing us as well. That's not great, but remember Atago, stuff like that is in that 15-second plus range, so you could call that okay. It's still not amazing, obviously. We want to be getting access to these combat instructions, and we will be very quickly, anytime, especially battleships are shooting at us. That's a weird one where in a cruiser, you're very used to trying to avoid the battleship fire. Not in this case. I actually kind of reversed off of the island because I knew the Arizona was out here earlier. And that was intentionally. I wasn't going to go shoot at the Arizona. I was still focused on the cruisers that were towards the ACAP there. I just wanted to get him to be able to shoot at me if he wanted to. I wanted to charge my F key faster. I mean, that is not how you normally play cruisers, right? Why would you reverse out from cover to a battleship? Yeah, you have to play it just a little bit differently. AP doing pretty well into the upper belt of this Umahari, but every once in a while I felt like this AP was not that amazing. I think that Arizona burst was a good example of that earlier, where it just wasn't doing all that much damage, a lot of overpens, a lot of shatters, that sort of thing. As long as we're getting those full pins, it does feel very good, but you're not always going to be getting that. Maybe I needed to aim a little bit more precisely, perhaps. But in this case here, we're not going to take out this Arizona very quickly at all, and he's going to get a couple salvos into us. This is actually a good thing. In the moment, I was like, oh, I would like to get a Kraken. Wouldn't that be nice for the video? But looking back, it's actually a really good thing we didn't kill him any quicker than we actually did, because he's actually going to get another salvo out on us on very, very low HP, 351. And what's that going to give us? Oh, that's going to give us our F key. Who's about to go flat broadside onto us? Oh, that's going to be a Mogami. You might consider leaving the battleships alive to give you F key just so you can go after their cruisers and destroyers even harder. Maybe not the best idea if the battleship is just going to take out your team or take you out very quickly. But if the battleship isn't that threatening to you, you know, it doesn't overmatch you or anything like that, you're not at risk of dying, it might be worth considering that, because look at the outcome. As soon as we have our F key, you just smash out all of the lightly armored ships, the ones with citadels we can actually find. Okay, well, maybe that's not the best advice. That's really bad advice, actually, so probably don't do that. But it worked out in this one. With this ship, that is kind of the strategy you want. You need to be... I really need to just get this point home. You need to be taking potential damage. If you're not getting any potential damage, this is one of the worst ships in the game. 18.5-second reload on 9-203s with barely improved pen angles. It's like 50 to 65 degrees. Like, it's nice to have those, but certainly not worth taking. I mean, what's Baltimore reload? 10 seconds versus this one, 18.5. You got to get that F key is what I'm saying. It's really fun when you do. Jumping into our live game now, we're gonna rush the flank on a very nice matchmaker overall, I would say. It's tier 9, so we're not top tier, but I feel pretty confident at tier 9 games. Something to note is it's not anything special about our healing that allows us to survive. It really is just our armor, which is like Napoli levels of armor at times, right? Like 40 millimeters of armor is just very, very good. Congress shoots us, Turpid shoots us. Can we get our F key instantly? Okay, that's half. That's pretty fun to get half. So what I'm looking for are positions where I can get shot at like this, but still get into cover, right? We can't sustain that pressure forever. We can't stay open water forever unless we play much further back. We have to play a lot further back if we want to do more open water shenanigans. So if we push up like this, we're looking to get into cover much quicker. Unfortunately, it looks like I don't quite have the range on my ASWs to actually reach that submarine. So what I will do instead is continue to push towards this Congress. I want you to notice that our Jean Bart and our Cambridge both came from the middle to this flank. So we have a pretty big advantage here in terms of ships. So we should be able to win this one, as well as potentially provide crossfires, right? If these guys are shooting this way, I might get a different angle from this side. I don't think I'm going to continue to push, though, with the Kearsarge potentially providing that cross shot. And we will go bow in here against the Congress. He's got improved pen angles himself. And I don't really want to risk that too much. Turpit's here as well. Let's see. Congress is going to angle to us too. That's fine. What I might do, actually, is if I get shot at by Turpit's here and I do get a reload booster. No, actually, they actually got the destroyer. I was going to say, it would be kind of nice to poke my nose with my booster active and then just send it at the DD, but that's not what we're going to do. Instead, what we're going to do is just use our booster on off cooldown here. Like I said, we don't have to worry that much about... I should focus Congress because he's lower. We don't have to worry that much about the Turpid secondary. It's not going to do that much damage to us. Yeah, fire here and there. But the armor should be holding pretty well for us. I will rep that because our booster is up, so I would very much like to get our... Although Congress is on the HE, that's kind of interesting. So yeah, I take the fire. I was expecting him to stay AP. And maybe I wouldn't take the double fire. But crucially, we are also getting struck by the carrier? Am I really the best target for that? Wow, and he gets so much damage into us. So we reverse around the island. This is great, actually, because I had a wonderful time playing this ship, and now I'm suffering. So it's not just all sunshine and rainbows. The ship is not just busted overpowered, all right? Bad experiences can happen. That's surprising he went after us. Anyways, once these guys push out, which they might, I'll look to flank them then. All right, but for now, we can't be the tip of the spear, I suppose. We'll have to let our higher tiers do that. So a little patience required still. This is good, okay? This is good. I was worried a little bit that I would only show these like insane games in randoms and then people would think this ship is kind of busted. And it is not. It is not. I don't think it's busted at all. I just think it's really fun. All right, we get our next heal. And yeah, they are content to show broadside on to our Jean Bart as well as our Cambridge there, which is a bit of a surprise. I will poke my nose. I'm not sure if I will get spotted here. It looks like I won't. We can use just the edge of this island to remain undetected. That's kind of cool. So I'll continue to go upper belt Turpits. As already mentioned, I don't really like the HE on this ship, so that's why I'm not really using it as much. I'm waiting for them to angle to my, like, strong teammates here. Come on. Why are they just still angled to me? Wait, why is he even looking towards me? Okay, I mean, I got spotted now, but I wasn't necessarily spotted earlier. Wild. Okay, I guess they fear the Aguirre. But why? Wouldn't you fear the Jean Bart Cambridge more? This is crazy. Yeah, Turpitz is looking for us too. Oh my goodness. Okay. Okay. This is fine. This is unexpected behavior, but it is fine. He's just chilling broadside on, I guess. Perhaps our guys in the middle... Oh, our Jean Bart's almost down. Perhaps they're getting... having to deal with that side of things there. All right, we'll get our front guns here. A little bit of patience. I will use my F key. We are using Lisboa, right? So we are getting that benefit. Now with this F key up, I should get some good damage in here. I also want to do that. I know I'm wasting some of my F key doing that, but I think it's worth it. We really got to take out that sub if we're going to keep pushing here. Notice how our team has won the north. So they're kind of kiting from there and going towards us. Yes, we get the sub. So that allows us to play a little bit more aggressive. And by that, I mean we are going to push out here a little bit because I see that shore is potentially going broadside. So that is what I am going to look for here. I know we don't have much of a charge. Actually, teammates did a pretty good job into him here. We don't have much of our charge available to us. And so as a result, maybe not the best idea to push out here. Yeah, especially with he goes down anyway. So let's reverse back into cover before Tirpitz gets a hold of us. Or a Kearsarge or something like that. Okay, Tirpitz is pushing again. Hopefully my teammates can help me out on that. But we want to isolate, right? So if Kearsarge wants to look for us, then that's going to be much worse. Hopefully he doesn't take his planes for us again. I think there's a lot higher priority targets, to be honest with you. But he might just go for us again, unfortunately. Not much we can do about that. We're getting our charge. Looks like our destroyer is going to get this Tirpitz for us. That's really nice. Low damage game, though. Oh, my goodness. Very low impact, too, I would say. Okay. Good stuff. We can rep that. Carrier's going after Jean Bart. Okay, that makes sense because he is so low. The Shiratsuyu behind us, but we have held the line, I guess we could say. Bit of a weird one. Bit of a weird one, but most of your games are going to look better than this, I would say. Unfortunate that we had such a bad game for our live one, but it is what it is. I'm really doing my best to find broadsides, okay? I want you to really notice that, like, we went here and our really powerful ships were up here. And they pushed like this. And yet they still angled to us over our more powerful tier 9s, right? This is also going to happen here, where this Kearsarge is broadside on to all of my team. Is he going to remain broadside on? He's getting behind the island now. But is he going to remain broadside going across this gap? That sort of thing. I want you to consider those things. I am purposefully trying to get myself in positions where I am providing an alternate angle to what my teammates are, their angle is at. Wow, that's just, it hurts so much. So that's what I really want you to pay attention to, is how much broadside potential we should be getting versus what we actually are. So hopefully Kearsarge doesn't kill us here. Oh, just front gunned me. My armor just didn't work this game. What happened? What happened to Aguirre? That's crazy. Okay, well, he knows where to aim. I was going to show you guys that anyway, but he knows where to aim, I guess. He aimed here. So our armor looks like this, right? 25. I was trying to turn broadside enough to bait him into hitting here, and I thought I did that successfully, but it looks like he just caught us here, so that gets the full pens there. 50 millimeters of armor as an icebreaker so that our citadel, which is a little bit above water, is probably not going to get hit at these closer ranges. Then we have that nice 40 and 40. We took a lot of damage from the planes. We took a lot of damage from just the HE pressure too from those secondaries. Perhaps we're not as strong against those secondaries as I thought. Man, I really wish I had found those broadsides. That's a little bit sad. But you saw that in the normal commentary section of this video, what this ship can do. But like, pay attention to that, where we pushed in such a way where we were providing that cross flank, where most of our team was kind of clumped up in the middle. That tends to happen a lot. People like to clump up, understandably so, especially if there's carriers. So I want to find those alternate angles, and usually you get rewarded for it, like we saw in those earlier clips of this video. Here's a build that I'm running. Really like running steering gears here, because again, we need to be taking damage, so getting spotted isn't such a big deal. It also, it kind of pairs well with top grade gunner. Lower range on these guns pairs well with outnumbered, so getting us that nice 10% accuracy bonus. Still want some concealment though, as it is nice to go dark. And then taking Superintendent here for the extra healing. We should be able to get to it. No fast cooldown, no special healing, as we already mentioned, but you should be able to get to it given the armor. It usually holds better than what we saw in this game. And then I'm taking focus fire training just because pushing up tends to mean you get focused by carriers, as we saw from the hybrid. And you're not really spamming HE for demo expert, I don't think. Consumables enhancements doesn't do a lot either. So, and I find I have the situational awareness kind of built in by playing the game for so long at this level. So I don't need these as much, but probably just go priority target would be my recommendation. We still want gun feeder though, because destroyers exist, right? We still want to, if we have our F key available to us, swap quickly over to the high explosive, and then burst in some damage into destroyers. That's still something that is very much worth doing. So pretty cool ship, I gotta say. F key is very, very fun. 70% reload booster is wild, absolutely wild stuff. And you'll find it with the ships tab for doubloons. So 11,300, and worth noting that this 25% off coupon will work for Aguirre, where that same coupon will not work if you are interested in Grau. Otherwise, the difference isn't that extreme, going from like just over 11,000 to just over 13,000. So probably still, especially if you don't have the coupon, pick the playstyle you're more interested in. A little more brawly, a little more close range, getting shot at versus stealthy, staying undetected, that sort of thing with Grau. Both of these ships are extremely fun to play. Their reload boosters are a really, really good time, especially if you do have Lisboa as well. But I think that's going to do it for today's video on Aguirre. You know, sometimes not the best games happen, and that is okay. Happens to me too, and worth showing that off, as not all my games are perfect. And certainly this ship is just not a you win button. That is not this ship. You really got to get the right positioning down. Otherwise, it is just an 18.5-second Harlem without a airstrike with a little better armor. So not great unless you're getting that reload booster active and you're finding those broadside opportunities. But let me know what you think in the comments down below. I love this thing. Thank you very much for watching, and have a great rest of your day.